of the PlanetQuake website, we have the ever awesome Pappy-R, who runs the news over there. Say hi.
How you doing?
And I'd like to focus this time. Last time we had you on, we talked about basically the state of the planet, and this time I want to talk about you because you're such a huge part of this. So hopefully I can embarrass you, and short of that, we can get some good information.
Well, unless we've slept together, you won't be embarrassing me.
Don't tell them that. That was our.
Alrighty then.
So let's get this first thing out of the way. Where does that name Pappy-R come from? And most importantly, do you get a lot of the slap happy pappy?
If you ever met me, you know you wouldn't call me slap happy pappy. The name Pappy-R was a name I had to come up with because my other name was taken by a really good Quake 2 player back at the time who is RIX. My first name is Rick, and I took the name RIXX, and that was taken. So I went to another nickname that I was like my friends had used, and it was Pappy, and that was still in the day taken all over the web. So I just put the R on it for Rick. So, and just been Pappy ever since. Most people actually call me Pappy.
Yeah, I always tease everybody who has a common name that I choose my name after people who most people wouldn't be caught dead with that name. So Pee-wee, pretty much nobody wants it. So I'm pretty safe.
Well, in the early days when I was playing and I was playing with the name Pappy-R, clanmates and that, they were like, oh, they were younger guys, and they were like, oh, you need a more intimidating name like Deathmonger with teeth, Ozzy Osbourne, eat your mother, slash cut your throat, right? And I just went, no, I'm not going for intimidation. I'm going for humiliation. And I used to have binds that were like Pappy spanked another, and you just got spanked by your Pappy, and who's your Pappy now? And
those are actually pretty good. You should. I hope you get the chance to pull those out a lot now too.
Oh, on a rocket kill, I had my in my config back in the day, just another pap smear when I gipped him with a rocket. So that was, big fun. Yeah, back in the smack talking days, that was great.
Now, when did you ever start the movie quotes game, and where'd you get the idea?
Oh, well, I'm a serious movie fan. I don't really watch TV. I really watch movies. I've got a fairly decent movie collection myself, and it just sounded like something cool. And actually, a girl named Bitter Ivy started it off. I can't remember exactly how it started, but she started sending them in like once a week. We'd have it once a week. And then she kind of went away. Like, I've been around a long time. A lot of people have just gone away, right? And I just picked it up, and then we started doing it every day and having a weekly total, like doing the points, and I don't know, it's just gotten to where it is. I keep going because I get a lot of people entering it every freaking day.
So, Texarkana, does he eat his Wheaties, or did he somehow invent a movie trivia aimbot?
I know, eh? Dude's sick. Actually, funny little thing about his stats in this whole thing, and don't even ask me how I know this or why I know all this stuff, but he has overall the most points. He has overall the most weekly wins. He does not have overall the most wins during prize times, and he also does not have anywhere near the same numbers on the theme solving as anyone else who's in contention for, the most points and anything like that. And he's probably like, it's funny, a lot of people give me their little movie critiques on the movie that I took the quote from that day, he's like probably my most quiet player too, because he just doesn't say anything. Just enters his quote and that's it.
Well, I guess when he gets in the zone, he's just got to focus.
Could be a bot, man. I don't know.
You should, being a Quake 2 player, you should respawn with an email that says like Ratbot or runs one of the anti-bot lines. See if it triggers a response.
Well, we have done actually. I know it's a guy. We have done a little back and forth. When he has taken shots at the quote, I'll do that with people when they take shots at the quote and it's like totally off the scale or something. I'll have some fun with it, but so I know he's not a bot, but yeah, he's something.
So switching gears a little bit, who all have you worked with during your time with PlanetQuake, and what are some of your fondest memories?
Oh man, the best time I ever had. I think I said this in one of the past interviews on TastyCast, but the best time I had was when I was doing news and articles and stuff and level of the week and everything else, and doing the hosting. I was doing all the hosting for PlanetQuake at the time, and that was really something. The best time I had, Hellchick was site director, and I got to do all that. It was the scene was just incredible. Quake 1 was still going gangbusters. Quake 2 was still going gangbusters, and Quake 3 was picking up steam. It was just an amazing time. We haven't seen, there has never been anything like it.
I can tell you I've been skimming through some of the old articles, and without a doubt, I can see the energy during that time too.
Oh, it was crazy. We would wait for, I remember the night the Quake 3 demo came out, and this happened a lot because it came out when they were done with it, but they would let us know that they were going to try and get it out that day. So I'm sitting around up here like 2, 3, 4 in the morning doing nothing but waiting for this thing. And then we got to get pictures of it and post them up. And it was great though. It was just great. It was so intense and, so many people waiting on it and, still able to, in the early days of the id Software stuff, it was fairly easy to overwhelm networks and things like that and have them closed down just from sheer magnitude of the people coming for this stuff. But later we even got that, and the systems were a lot bigger, so it was a lot harder. It was a lot bigger feat to do, but the Quake community got it done.
Yeah, and I know that happens with QuakeCon every year. So I can imagine that just the energy and the excitement of just being a part of that, and all those people just awaiting Quake, just the awesomeness that is what was invented by id.
Oh, it was great. All the communities were just rocking. Quake Expo had started up, and the Quake 1 community, and like I still get mail from people. Oh, Quake's dead, right? Well, which one are you talking about? Because Quake 1 is still kicking ass. So, and they're all going really strong. So,
I still have conversations with people about Quake 1 based engines for PSP homebrewware, and the engine is just not stopping. It's a huge part of history and now.
Oh yeah, there's several. As a matter of fact, there's several projects, and they're mainly based on ModDB. They're Quake, and they're going to be for the PC and the PSP. Really cool stuff. I can't wait to see it come out. One's called Solitude, and it's basically Halo and the Quake engine on the PSP, but they're also going to port it over to PC.
Yeah, that's definitely a really cool project. I know, I mean, specifically on your articles, one of the great reasons why I follow PlanetQuake so closely is when these projects hit or have an update, it's the first place I go to see it because I want to jump on. There's a Turok one. There's a, like you said, the Halo one. There's a bunch of Quake-based uh, games, full version demos, stuff like that. That it's just a ton of stuff out there for everyone to play.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. That's what keeps me here. It's there's always still new stuff, and I still get people mails from people just wanting to get into Quake 1, mails from people wanting to get into Quake 2. It's still, it's not as hopping and hot and everything else as it used to be, but still get lots of mails from people. It's still great, and it's the creative community and the other communities that have spawned around it, just amazing. Like the Tastyspleen guys, awesome.
Now, going along the same lines, what was your favorite news story that you ever covered? The wackiest, the most boring? What did you cover? What did you like?
Well, for something that I covered, it would have to be, and there's been a few that have been online and lasted a few days, releases and stuff like that. My favorite would have to be a QuakeCon, and I've only been to two, 2002, 2005. My absolute favorite would have to be QuakeCon 2005 because I got to go to id Software that day or the day before QuakeCon started, and I spent a lot of time at QuakeCon with the id guys and went up to the id suite and all that, and nothing better than that.
Do you get a lot of perks that way? I know that people like John Romero and what is it, Tom, the guy who invented the dope fish, and most of them are Apogee guys back when id and Apogee were doing Wolfenstein and whatnot. They have like a little circle where they'll share information. Do you get any perks like that?
I You know what? I do get information ahead of time, and the reason they tell me things is because I won't, you know, post before it's time. I knew that like Enemy Territories Quake Wars. I knew things about that game 2 years before anybody else did.
Oh wow.
That's just one really big example. But yeah, they're great, but they trust me because I've never posted, just for, oh, I've got this inside info and I can get a bunch of hits this day, for posting any of that. And like when illegal art gets out, I help them track it down.
Right. I'd say it's definitely good to hear that not only are you able to appeal to the communities, but the fact that you're able to appeal to the sources and be, really friendly with them. That's a great thing. I don't know if you see that a whole lot.
Oh, I know, and they're a great bunch of guys. They've always been, very, very, like I used to hold LAN parties. They'd supply a lot of prizes and stuff, games, side and games, posters, things like that. A lot of the contests on my sites, I just mail some of the guys there, Marty, Kevin, or whoever, and tell them I'm doing something, and they'll kick in some booty for it. It's great.
No, I've already mentioned this a little bit, but I do want to revisit it. I was skimming through some of the over 1,400 pages of old news, and I think that's just the stuff that hasn't been archived yet. And I noticed there's some cool tech features in the years past. One example is the PlanetQuake page for the Palm Pilot. Are some of these features still functional, just nostalgia's sake?
I don't think so. Not under the newer systems they put us under. I don't think so at all. I've never been into that stuff. I don't even own a cell phone. I'm so not mobile. When I travel to events, stuff like that, that's really it for me. I take my laptop and that's my work area. So I don't know, but I don't think so. I don't think any of that old stuff's around.
Now, while reading some of these articles, around 97, you were a Quake-loving fiend. You know what? That's not really a question. I just wanted to point it out and maybe get your reaction.
Guilty. Have been for many, many a moon. You can ask my wife. Well, I was into id stuff before I was with my wife. She's been through it all, and when I started out and I said, well, one day I'll get paid for this, and she was like, yeah, all right, sure. And then well, we have pictures from our wedding. Now, we didn't wear them during the ceremony, but we had pictures from our wedding party with us in PlanetQuake jackets. So all this is a really big part of everything. My office, my work area takes up not quite half of our home.
Wow. That's, I mean, that's dedication in a great way.
If I could get the laundry room off of this floor, then I'd be taking half of the house. But, yeah, well, I've got a shop and you know, and my office. My office is fair size.
Well, if you think about it, the Planet Quake jackets and shirts and whatnot, if you have them, they need washed. So that counts.
You know what? I do not have a Planet Quake T-shirt. I'll bet you those are really rare.
You should make some competition or some uh, uh, prize round on a movie quote and just answer it yourself so you can get one.
I tried to get them. Anything dealing with the logo. Um, I have to go through the network, and I tried to get them to make T-shirts. Like we could have sold a gajillion of them. People were like busting us down about it, and no, we don't sell T-shirts that you want. But so that got screwed. But yeah, like I don't have one. When they did Planet Quake in Brown, there was a big launch for it. It went from the black and teal to brown. There was a big launch for it and everything else, and they had shockwave ads for it and everything that were actually pretty funny. How to clean your rocket launcher, stuff like that. That was good. Um, that was in the days of Fargo. Fargo rocked. It was yeah, like they just said no, and so there was no more Planet Quake T-shirts, and I never even got one. I had 3 Planet Quake jackets, and well, actually, I was given as part of my contract. I was given 2 Planet Quake jackets when they were made, and they were like really limited. Only a few people at GameSpy got them, and some of the guys at id Software.
Mhm.
But I do not have a Planet Quake T-shirt, and that pisses me off.
We'll have to leave it up to one of the fans to make one at home. And
No, you know what? I have gotten shirts from Quake fans, and just awesome. One of my favorite shirts was at QuakeCon 2002. I wore it the whole one day. It was great. It was a really great shirt. Still have it. I think it was. I can't remember. Can't remember. Quake Eternity or something. It was great. Really nice shirt. And I've got this is I've got Wirehead Studios. Do you know who Wirehead Studios is?
um,
Generation Arenas.
oh yes,
Generations
yes.
Arena. Um, yeah, I've got one of their, and I paid like $200 for this thing. I've got one of their hockey. It's a hockey jersey. It has their big logo on the front and Pappy-R on the back.
Wow.
All the things I have. I've got hell. My prized possession is my skull, and not my personal skull. I place little value on that. Kenneth Scott, he's not with id Software anymore, but one of the artists there gave me a skull. And do you have Doom 3?
Yes.
When you get to hell, when you take the teleporter to hell, and you're like in the gateway of hell, and then you go into the main gateway to go to hell, over in the lava is a skull, and that was actually the original gateway to hell, but they changed their minds. Well, I have that, and it was done for id Software. I have that, the 3D model of it. It was all like laser cut and everything. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's so cool.
They call it a 3D part, and it's incredible. The detail through it. There was a teleporter at the back of its throat, and that's in there, and it's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's my, and I've got, a lot of posters mounted and everything from the guys, but that's my prized possession.
So, switching gears again. Every day, we readers, we so ironically await the chance to hear your own morning gas. This segment has not always had that name. Where did it get its start?
Okay, that thing is all Jube's fault. Totally, 100%. I blame Jube. Every day I have to write that thing. I blame Jube. And now, because of this person, I have to do it on 3 sites a day. And I'm sorry to everybody, because some days it's the same thing on all 3 sites. I hate to tell you. I'll throw the random thought on Planet Doom and the quote on PlanetQuake, but how much shit happens to a person in one day? But Jube, when Jube used to work for me on the planets, now she does Voodoo Extreme and a few other things. When Jube used to work for me, I let her do all of the news in the morning on Planet Wolfenstein. And she started doing a morning post. And then she started bitching at me and bugging me, and I'm not even married to this woman, about doing one on PlanetQuake. And I don't know how long it took, but I finally gave in, and I started the morning gas on PlanetQuake. I'm not sure. It's probably been at least 5 years going.
It's a lot of gas.
When she dies, I can stop. This is all I know.
And so far, all of your attempts with the rocket launcher have been unsuccessful.
Oh God! In game, I killed shit. She killed. We played. We did some smack talk back and forth on the site a few years back, and we went down and we had a little throwdown, and she picked the map and everything. She was killing herself. I wasn't even in the goddamn room. Like, when I saw her, I killed her. But I mean, she's killing herself. I'm not even around. And this is on like DM3 or something. Just amazing.
Well, yeah, some people can't handle their own rockets, but the good news is it's always free ammo. So.
Yeah. She's a beauty, and this is all her fault. And now I have Reveille on Planet Wolfenstein, Morning Gas on PlanetQuake, and Hell and Back on Planet Doom. Every goddamn morning. I'm just kidding. No, I do. I love my sites. I love every one of my sites.
Well, and your eulogy for her will be thanks for the rockets, Jude.
No, really? Probably be screw you. She bitches at me. I'm not married to her. No, screw you. Yep. No, I loved you. We talk all the time still. She's my buddy.
That's what we call down here the work wife, where if you're not getting nagged because you're at work, she makes sure that you get nagged while you're at work.
Oh shit! I don't even need that. My dog is a female. I've got my daughter and my wife. The only person who doesn't bitch and nag at me is my wife. Go figure. Nope, the wife is awesome. The daughter, oh, good Lord. Nothing like a teenager to bring out your best.
Well, you got some games to get your rage out on. So
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. Yep. I got it like lately. My daughter is 15. 5 minutes of talking to her. There's really nothing more I want than a rocket launcher. I got to tell you, a couple of really stupid bots.
yeah. Well, that could lead some interesting binds. Like if you take somebody out, you say, if you think that was hard, try having a teenager.
Oh man, they are. Oh, they're walking love, man. They're just walking love. Am I Bill Cosby enough for everybody yet? Yeah, they're a treat. They're special. There should be a locking up period. That's all I can say.
I always heard that when you have children, the best parenting advice is to put them in a barrel with a hole in it so you can feed them. Once they turn 16, you plug up the hole.
If you feed them, they just get bigger.
Yeah.
This is what I've learned. Um, like my daughter goes out and my wife leaves the door unlocked. And that's really nothing but, you know, asking for trouble.
So, trying to re-rail here.
Yeah, we were talking about killing shit. Wait, Quake. Yeah, let's go there.
You also take care of the news for Planet Wolfenstein, Planet Doom. You obviously have equal respect for these id titles. How did you get to be doing the news for these sites as well? Did you ask or were you asked?
Every single planet is different. Um, and by the way, before I start a planet, um, I actually take a break and get in the mood for that planet. I do every day. I go and have a smoke and think about that morning post. And sometimes I have to copy and paste, but if I can write something about the scene, Doom or Wolfenstein or Quake specific, then I'll do that. But um, I do. I love all of them. I'm a big fan of big. Doom was the first for me. Wolfenstein 3D did not inhabit my soul. I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. And on I went with my life. I played Doom, and that was it. That was absolutely it. And then the day I finally got everything hooked up with my buddy to play co-op Doom, it was just too much. And it's really been it was my hobby for years, and for a while it even turned into, how I made my living. There's a sickness there. It can't be cured. My wife has given up. She just really keeps me down here in the bunker and makes sure I'm happy. Throw some food down, rolls a roast down the stairs. I cook it up. We eat it. There you go. No, I love it. I love all the games. They're all very different. People will bitch about one that it's not the other and everything else, and even just in the Quake series that one isn't. But I've so far been able to find something I like in all of them.
That's definitely true. I know every single one of those added a new aspect, and you can point to specific parts of every one of those games that influences games of today.
Oh yeah, you can ask me about any game, and I can tell you, any of the id Software games. Actually, more than that, but usually these things are id Software centric. Any of the games, and I'll tell you what I love. That's apart from the other games. They're all different. They're all great,
And they're all community oriented, which is what's so impressive about them.
Well, the one undergoing some fire right now is the new Wolfenstein game. I've played that a lot myself. I really like it. There are some console, some parts of it where you can tell that the console was more, the menu system, stuff like that, a lot of things. they were thinking about the console more than the PC, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. But in the game itself, I really like it, and the game didn't sell all that great coming out. And it had some shots, but I don't know. I like it. And as far as the community part of it goes, the SDK hasn't come out yet. So that's really the suckage.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that there's probably nothing being said about Wolfenstein that wasn't said about Quake 4. And that's maybe my favorite single-player game I've ever played.
Are you serious?
I don't know. I'm a Quake 2 guy. And the fact that they showed the pod that they always that's basically a joke at the beginning of the first level in Quake 2, and sawing the legs off for the strong conversion. I had a blast with that. I love what Raven does with id titles or with id engines.
I was as far as I'm concerned, Quake 4 is the worst. Yeah, I was totally the single player. I was totally like, well, and the multiplayer is just,
I agree about
actually not even actually. I don't like Quake 4 as much as I like Quake 3 for multiplayer either. But I was really let down by what they did. Quake 4, if you want the absolute truth, felt just too. It didn't go far enough. It didn't go ball. It should have gone balls out. Or more. It had a lot more in common with the Star Trek games that they did.
Yeah, and I can understand that criticism where and two things that I
a little too Boy Scout for my taste.
Yeah, and they took Quake 2 finished a plot for the most part, and Quake 4 says, "Oh, let's revisit the plot that's been finished."
And that the big brain at the end, that was so cheesy you could almost smell it.
Yeah.
Cooking. Like the big fat guy was cool, right? The big heart was all right. But when you get to the end and there's the big brain, it's like, you know what? No. Just freaking no. But there was.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we could talk about Quake 4 all day.
Not really.
No, I know something I loved, or I like to compare it to is the Rogue expansion for Quake 2, because the boss fight is similar with the giant spider boss. But
yeah, but I mean, that was Quake 2. I was just, and that's the problem with Quake 4. They could have done so much more. They should have done so much more. It should have been so much better. With the Quake 2, I freaking love Quake 2. I still will just go speed run through a whole game of Quake 2 or something on a Saturday in like 4 hours and just zip all the way through the whole game. I'll still do that with Quake 2 and or the mission packs. Love those. Just love those games. Love.
Is 4 hours your best time?
I've never really clocked myself. I just go at it. I only do it because I like it.
I'll tell you what,
I don't think I'm anywhere near. I'm big fans of the Quake speed running community. These guys just freaking amaze me. So I'm nowhere near their talent, so I don't worry about my time. I just try and get through the game in an afternoon. If my wife and my daughter out at a family function with their family, because homie don't play that. I'll sit and play Quake 2, like just I got an afternoon. There it is. Love it. Quake 1, Quake 2, love. All the mission packs, love.
Now, PlanetQuake, it's grown to pretty epic proportions, to include things like Transformers, Grand Theft Auto, consoles, Halo series, just to name a few. Do you consider this impressive list of different communities to count as success for PlanetQuake itself? Basically, does the success of the galaxy prove the state of the planet?
I don't know about that. They certainly they were intertwined and they relied on each other, and that's what made it great. That's when I was calling it the Big Fuzzy. It was just, and we were talking about it earlier. The best times, when the Quakes were the biggest things going. Um, you know, ever since Quake 1 came out, just amazing. But I don't know.
Do you ever see these sites for the planets for the different games? Do you ever see them emulate that when it hits a newer game? Like Resident Evil 4 just came out not too many months ago. Do you see that kind of energy on those websites?
No, no, it always. I've never seen anything to match the Quake community in its heyday. Never, never. For a while, the Half-Life stuff was really, really popular as far as numbers, but the energy just wasn't there. Not on a lot of the larger community sites. Just seemed lacking to me. But then again, I was lucky enough to be dealing with the best.
Now, with the massive amount of content that still comes out for all of the Quakes, despite spanning well over a decade, have you ever tried to get a taste of all of the maps, the mods, the enhancements that you cover on the news? Or do you just accept this as a daunting task, too big for one man?
Um, easily I've tried most of it. There was a while I couldn't keep up, but now I try everything. Everything that I think is decent. You get a feel for stuff after a while. You see a couple of screenshots. Something might not be that great. You know, uh, uh, a new map designer's early efforts, that kind of thing. Um, you've been around it for a while. You want the good stuff, but no, I've tried most of it, and that's why I'm here. I was getting the stuff, trying it. I was in the forums and the chat rooms and everything else. I was getting the stuff and trying it, and then telling other people about it. So then I started doing that on a site. Then I started doing it on another site. And then I started doing it on another site. And then people started to send me money in the mail. That's really it. I was going to do this shit anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I told you I'm not a well man. I like this Quake and Doom and Wolfenstein stuff way too much. And I really can't wait to get into Rage too. Um, yeah, I like a lot of games. I play a lot of different games as well. But you know, people mostly know me from the id stuff, and that's okay too.
Now, did you ever see yourself still being the voice for Planet Quake this many years later?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Um, I I really never thought it would go on this long. I really, really didn't. Absolutely didn't. But it won't stop, and I can't stop until it stops. So there's no stopping.
Well, there's no stopping it.
No, no, and I'll be doing this probably as long as I can. As long as I feel that I'm contributing to the community.
Well, I think you've done a great job so far. And as long as you're here, you'll have plenty of people following you. Now, we all know that you're one of the older guys in Quake. But where were you and how old were you when you first played Quake? And at that moment, did you realize the effect it would have on you?
No, I was really into Doom, and I heard about Quake, and I followed everything. And when Quake came out, like Doom was my first big love. Um, I got back into Wolfenstein once I Doom just took me away, and then Quake just really totally blew me away, and everything since. And um, it's I don't know. It's just
It's bigger.
yeah.
It's
You
out there.
don't. Never see any of this stuff coming, and just sort of happened.
Now, we've seen the Quake engine, the Quake 2 engine being put to practical real-world application with the 3D cave and through a recent scientific experiment with mice. That being said, do you see yourself still reading up and reporting on Quake news, Quake communities, Quake goodness in another 13 years?
Well, like I just said, I'm here as long as it goes. As long as I am liking this, and I've always said that I don't play Quake because I'm on PlanetQuake and Doom and Wolfenstein and that. I don't do that because I'm here because I do that, because I play those games. I'll be here as long as I'm enjoying it, the games, and as long as I'm enjoying the communities and feel that I'm contributing to it. If I ever feel that I'm not, that somebody else could do a better job, then I'll step down. I mean, that's the community is the reason I'm here. The games are the reason the community is here.
Well, I think that's the perfect way to put it. I'll tell you what, I enjoy pretty much first thing. Well, I have to wait till 9, but first thing I check in the morning is your news because I want to know what's going on, and you've been a huge part of my Quakedom in a long time, and I'm sure I speak for a lot of people to say that I know you do this because of the community. The community does this because of the game, but I don't want to belittle that you're a big part of this. You do a great job, and I just want to thank you for being there every day and getting this information out to people, getting news, telling us about what people are doing, and just generally caring. You're good at it, and I think you're the right guy for the job. And
do you know that me being on PlanetQuake was initially a subversive action?
Explain.
Like I said, I worked on other sites before PlanetQuake, right? And we were doing stuff, and we thought it was really cool. And we made some maps. We made maps that later became Level of the Week on PlanetQuake. After I was working on the site, I just pointed the guys over to them, and they liked them, and they reviewed them and stuff, and they made Level of the Week. I was working on another site, and they wouldn't post our news on PlanetQuake. And this is also funny because later, after I was on PlanetQuake for a while, people were sending me news, and I would post it, and they go, "Wow, that's cool. We thought you only posted for your hosted site." It's like, no, man, fuck. If it's cool and it's Quake, I post it. But I was on this other site and sending, news bits over, and they wouldn't post it. So I went, fine. And when I was working on another site, and when I was looking for news, PlanetQuake was really low on my list of news sources, and I thought that was really screwed up. So when Lotax wanted a news poster, I went on so that all the stuff that people were doing got posted on PlanetQuake. So it was, totally subversive, and I took over, so screw them. No, but
I'll still take over, but
they seemed a little high-handed to me, so they're gone now.
Well, that's the way you do it.
I just wanted my mods, man. That's it.
So, well, thanks for joining. It's been a pleasure to have you, as always. And lots of great information. And yeah, I can't thank you enough for the job that you do. And I know that you volunteer your time for this, and you put a lot of effort and energy into this. And you really give us something to look forward to. Give us a place to find what interests us, and with a fellow person that shares the same interests. So it's a pleasure having you, and thanks for joining us again.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you everybody for 13 years of PlanetQuake.
All right, this has been Pee-wee with Pappy-R, and
All right, everybody. Well, thank you. Oh, jeez. All right, where's my mic? There we go. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and you can find this MP3 up on Tastyspleen.tv whenever I get around to making the massive update I need to. So look for that, guys, and we'll be catching you around later on Tastyspleen.tv. This is Jahar, signing off.